And we're back at it again with another live one for all you Biconics wrestling YouTube fanatics out there. And welcome to another long form review brought to you by the Raw Squad. Here to review Monday Night Raw for September 18th, 2023. I am one of your two hosts, Mikey, and I'm going to be rocking this one solo. Unfortunately, my other co host, Evan, is having well, it's good news, bad news scenario. Bad news is he can't be here because he's having technology issues. Good news is that the technology issues is because he is upgrading his computer, which we all love, and I hope he enjoys it. But do not fret because he will be back next week for an amazing episode of Raw. Well, I say amazing loosely because I'm just going to be honest, you guys. So before I dive into this review, I want to give my initial thoughts here. And, all right, I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. This is my issue. I, mm, I'm going to be honest. I didn't really enjoy Raw, and I have a lot of questions. There was a lot of decisions made. Kind of felt all over the place for a good chunk of the show. The main event really is the only thing I enjoyed, but everything else was just kind of okay. And I have so many questions, but we'll just get into those as we come along with them. So let's just jump straight into the review. Monday Night Raw this week kicks off with Cody Rhodes in the ring, and he begins to cut a promo, but then is interrupted by Dominic Mysterio, which eventually has the rest of the Judgment Day come out, and it set up this match between Cody versus Dominic. Okay, I've expressed this on the other Raw reviews that we've done. I'm tired of this Cody, Dominic, Judgment Day, Sammy, and KO like mix. I thought we were past this point after Payback, but I guess apparently not. And this match was weird because we had like two commercial breaks, and the match was only like 5 minutes total. This was super weird. Cody Rhodes picks up the victory. Dominic and the rest of the Judgment Day boys surround the ring. Sammy and KO come down to save Cody to even the odds, and Judgment Day backs off. So I was like, oh, I thought we were done with this. I guess not. I'm like, ugh, oh man, we've seen this multiple times. I was just like, really? This is what we're going to do? And I'll get into it when we talk about it, but whatever. So then we cut to another commercial break, and when we come back, we end up seeing Sammy, KO, and Cody have this promo inside of the ring. And basically, this sets up that KO doesn't like that Jay is there, and that Kevin is not going to be gullible as Sammy and Cody is and Trusty Jay. And so he kind of fricks off as Sammy is trying to play peacekeeper, and we will see more of this later. I will say I do appreciate that this segment focused more on Jay and not the Judgment Day. But again, I'll wait until we get to the bumpers because I'm disappointed. So next we get a quick recap package of what happened last week during the Women's Heavyweight Championship match between Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley, in which Nia Jax returned. Listen, I've already stated, if you go follow me on TikTok and you've seen my videos, while I'm not necessarily the biggest fan as Nia Jax, I am going to be waiting to see what happens with her. And I don't think we should be dogpiling on her as a lot of the internet wrestling community has done so far. I want to be fair. But we get told on commentary that Raquel and Rhea are out because of injuries at the hands of Nia Jax. Well, this will not be the last time we talk about Nia because she will make an appearance later in this episode. Next, we get a really fun match between Kofi Kingston versus Ivar. Apparently, this match was supposed to be a 2 out of 3 falls, but then it got changed to a 1-on-1. So Kofi Kingston takes on Ivar. This match ruled. Again, Kofi, any iteration of the New Day and Viking Raiders has already been something that has happened already. But this match was fun. Ivar continues to impress me not only with his power, but also just being a man of that size Watching him do flips and jump off ropes is a thing of beauty, but ultimately Kofi Kingston gets the win here. We get another recap video segment that recaps what's been going on and what happened last week between Seth and Shinsuke Nakamura, which then leads into a backstage interview with Ricochet, who basically says that if Shinsuke wants a fight, he's going to get one. Oh, my poor Ricochet. Only you had known you were about to get that ass beat. So after this, Shinsuke begins to enter the ring and he does his entrance, which is still one of my favorite entrances on the current main roster right now. But Seth Rollins comes out and literally these two have a chase sequence like out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. And child, I don't know what's happening here. Literally, Seth Rollins be out here looking like a cartoon character. It is bizarre to me. But Seth ends up getting pulled to the back, and we end up starting the actual match between Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ricochet. This match has potential to be awesome, and then we got a DQ finish because Ricochet hit Shinsuke with the chair. I'm like, really? Really? This is what we're doing Monday Night Raw? Okay, fine, I guess. I can't really. So then we get a post-match brawl in which Seth and Shinsuke attacks Ricochet, and then Seth comes down. But then Shinsuke beats up Seth, which leads into Seth crawling through the backstage area looking for Shinsuke, but then his back gives out and has to go see a trainer. Again, we are spinning the wheels again, and we're not progressing the storylines again. This has been my biggest issue with Monday Night Raw the last couple of weeks leading into Payback. We kept spinning our wheels, telling the same stories, having the same matches over and over again. And I don't understand why. This makes no sense to me. Oh, speaking of things that make no sense. Okay, so let me backtrack to the beginning. So while Dominic and Cody were having a match, we see from NXT Dragon Lee. I'm like, okay, this is not the first time that NXT talent is in the crowd. I'm like, cool. And then we get an infographic that says next week on Monday Night Raw, it's going to be Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee for the NXT North American Championship. And I was like, excuse me? Because Dominic is supposed to be defending that championship against Mustafa Ali at No Mercy literally next Saturday at the pay-per-view. And so this already made me worried and made me like pull what's left of my hair out because the idea that potentially Dragon Lee is going to become champion throws all the weeks of build of story that we've had between Mustafa and Dominic and Dragon Lee go out the fucking window. And I'm just like, what is happening, you guys? I don't understand. This is ridiculous. And this won't be the only time I say that sentence when we go further into the review, but back to what happens. So as soon as Seth gets into the trainer's room, we cut backstage again where Byron Saxton interviews Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Again, furthering the will they, won't they, can they coexist tag team because Piper is annoyed that Chelsea is so obsessed. Chelsea is so into herself, she doesn't realize that Piper is there in terms of like Piper calls her out, asking her where she's from, and Chelsea can't even get that right. So these poor girls are trying really, really hard. And this tag division sucks. Now, I was excited because this next match were for the women's tag team championships. Thanks a lot, commentary, for not making that clear. I had to, when I was doing my notes and getting everything together for this review, I found out this was a tag team championship match, and I was like, oh, cool. Commentary didn't say that, but I was excited for this because it was Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark taking on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. This match had the potential to steal the show and had the potential to kick all the ass. None of those things happened because literally this ended in a no contest when Nia Jax came in and destroyed everybody in the ring. And this is where I get mad. Not at Nia Jax, but I get mad at WWE Creative. Now, my other co-host, Luis, shout out to the homie. I love you, bro. And you normally agree on a lot of things. And I agree that WWE is using Nia Jax to troll the fandom because everybody's talking about her and everybody's upset. My issue here is that I hate that they decided to use this match and with these four women and kind of just throw them to Nia Jax, especially Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. And Piper for that matter, because I love Piper. And honestly, all four of these women deserve better. They should not be fed to Nia Jax. Obviously, WWE is going with Nia's story right now that she's going to clear out the locker room and she's going to beat every woman up on Monday Night Raw. Fine, sure. I just hate the fact that it had to be during the tag team championship match, which further tells the audience that WWE and creative do not care about the women's tag team championships. And it makes me sad, but there's nothing I can do about it because WWE thinks they know better. What do I know? I'm just a person who reviews and watches on a weekly basis for both good and bad. So what do I know? So after this, backstage, we see Adam Pearce, who is with Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. Chad initially starts the conversation off, and he's begging Adam Pearce for one more chance at Gunther, but Adam Pearce says that as much as he would like to, Chad already got the chance and he lost. So he has to go to the back of the line. And this is further stated when Bronson Reed comes out and the two of them begin to argue, in which Adam Pearce says that if you, instead of arguing, you two could settle the ring and fight, which I'm like, cool. Bronson versus Chad will be cool. And I'm excited for that match. We get a quick video recap package of The Rock's return. Don't know why we need to, review what happened on SmackDown since it is a SmackDown show, but you know what? It is what it is. I stopped trying to make sense of everything. We jump into another backstage segment in which Jay Uso is, walking about, and then Damian Priest comes in and is furthering the Judgment Day, trying to recruit Jimmy and Jay, and also putting them against each other to destroy the bloodline and whatnot, which I love. But Jay seems to be a little more receptive here in this promo, and we'll talk about it comes to fruition later in the main event. But Jay's like, I'll think about it, and walks on. This next match, we have Chad Gable taking on Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed is killing it out here. I love Chad Gable. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that Bronson won here. So, okay, so Chad loses. So I guess he's not going to go up against Gunther again. So I'm very interested to see what happens. And I think we got our answer later in the show as to who's going to be facing Gunther for that title. I wish it was Chad again, but you know what? Once again, I'm not booking the show, so what do I know? After this, we get a quick Tommaso Ciampa promo who says that he's going to take everything from Gunther, which literally answered my question that I asked myself. Once Bronson beat Chad, I was like, okay, then who's going after the title? Tommaso cuts his promo, and there's my answer. Again, I love Tommaso Ciampa, but I really, really wanted Chad to be the one to take the title. And it makes me sad because now I'm afraid that Chad has had this incredible push and now he's not going to be pushed anymore, which is sad. We cut backstage again where we see Sammy KO and, Cody talking about it. And they're talking amongst each other. Jay Uso comes up and tells Kevin Owens, listen, if you got something to say it to my face, which Kevin does. And Jay out here, he understands, like, listen, I know I got a lot of enemies, but I got a lot of time right now. I got to focus on things. But if you got something to say it to my face. And again, Sammy's trying to play mediator between KO and Jay because Sammy believes in Jay, and we'll see what happens. In the ring, we get Becky Lynch cutting an awesome promo, talking about her win against Tiffany Stratton over the NXT Women's Championship match. And she says that she's here to defend it, which I got excited about. And who should answer this challenge but Natalya? Okay. WWE, Triple H. Come here for a second. We got to talk, you guys. So, I love Natalya, but there are three things that were wrong with this whole thing, and it has to do with all the behind the scenes news that happened and broke and the things that were said that irritated me such. Number one, this was not the scheduled match we were supposed to get. According to Fightful, this was supposed to be Becky Lynch versus Tegan Nox for the NXT Women's Championship. But they decided to change it and they put Natalya on there. So strike number one for me. Tegan Nox is amazing, and I don't know why we keep not getting her on television. I'm like, it makes me upset. Number two, What makes me even more mad is that Becky Lynch they don't care about her because Becky, according to Fightful as well, asked to face Tegan because she wanted to fight Tegan. And then they decided to not give Becky that request. And that makes me upset because Becky is probably your biggest popular women's wrestler in WWE main roster right now. And you told her she couldn't wrestle Tegan. And that makes me mad. But what pissed me off and sent me over the edge even more is, according to some reports via Fightful as well, Natalia was in the spot because it was a consolation and a thank you for all the work she done. And that is oof, that sent me into the stratosphere because what that tells me is that this was a pity prize and they still aren't treating Natty the way that she has. Like, Natalia's not my favorite women's wrestler. I think she's so decorated and they treat her like garbage and it pisses me the fuck off so much. And oh my gosh, it hurts me because Becky and Natalia deserve better, and this was not how it. The match was fine. Becky beat Natalia for the championship. Monday Night Raw and the main roster don't know what to do with the women's division, and it really irritates me and it made me mad this segment. I say I want them to do better, but man, this really bummed me out. And it pissed me off because as somebody who reviews NXT, I was talking with my NXT co host, Will, and we were chatting during Monday Night Raw. And this made me upset because it cheapens NXT's championship because it's not being treated like it's a real thing. And that pisses me off because Becky is bringing the name and the relevancy to the NXT Women's Championship. Though I want to clarify that the past NXT Women's Champions have brought it, but now that main roster eyes are on it from a mainstream audience, it's a good thing. But it doesn't help when you're booking this championship in some doo doo kind of matches. And for as short as this one was, this was not it. And I want them to do better. Do better, WWE. Come on. Then we get into a quick match, Tommaso Ciampa versus Giovanni Vinci. Tommaso Ciampa wins, and we continue to tell the tale that Giovanni Vinci is the weakest member of Imperium. Crazy, right? Backstage, we see Seth Rollins come out of the trainer's room, and he basically looks directly in the camera and tells Shinsuke Nakamura that he can give the place, the time, and the stipulation if he wants, but Seth is going to have this match with Shinsuke whether he likes it or not. Which means to tell me, because we see in the bumpers, which I'll get into right now, that next week Shinsuke will answer Seth's thing. God, I hope it's an ambulance match or last man standing match at Fastlane. I am here for it. It's going to be great. Our main event for Monday Night Raw this week sees Drew McIntyre taking on Jey Uso. This was my match of the night, hands down. This match was great. It was fun. Drew McIntyre picks up the win. The most important thing, though, is Jey Uso out here fooling the Judgment Day, thinking that Jay has joined him, but then he super kicks everybody. A brawl breaks out at the end of the match. Cody comes in for the save, and that is how we go off the air for this week on Monday Night Raw. I think this episode of Monday Night Raw made it obvious that Cody is going to be moving over to SmackDown whenever they decide to make that announcement. Who knows? But we will see what happens with that. And that brings me the end to the Monday Night Raw review. Overall, this was okay. As I said at the top of the review, this episode of Monday Night Raw kind of felt all over the place. And a lot of things, to me at least, seemed that things got changed along the way. The main event was probably my favorite part. But as far as everything else goes, it wasn't horribly wrong. It's just nothing progressed either. We're telling the same stories again. We're having the same matches again. And I thought we were done spinning our wheels once Payback was done, but we're not. We're getting Judgment Day versus Kevin Owens and Sammy for the Tag Team Championships next week. Sure, why not? I don't know. And then we get Dominic defending the NXT North American Championship against Dragon Lee, which makes no sense to me either. But, that's neither here nor there. I don't know. I'm worried because if this is what's going to keep happening on Monday Night Raw, this is going to suck to review because my expectations going into Payback were pretty low because Monday Night Raw was not doing a good job of developing their matches that we got at Payback, and those matches exceeded my expectations. I understand that Fastlane is like a filler pay-per-view because the next big one that matters in the context of WWE pay-per-views is Survivor Series. But me and a bunch of other people are watching the weekly product, and if you're going to give me mediocre, then you're going to get a mediocre score. That's why I give this week's Monday Night Raw a 5 out of 10. Again, nothing was inherently wrong, but geez Louise, this was awful. A lot of things felt rushed. A lot of things felt like they got changed on the fly. But what brought it down so much more is all the news that came out surrounding this NXT Women's Championship match that we were supposed to get between Becky and Tegan. And then the fact that they mentioned that, oh, Natalia got this match because it's a consolation and a thank you for all the work she does. It's such a slap in the face to the career that Natalia has had. This girl has never had a full length women's title run, and it's a damn shame. And WWE Creative, whether it was Triple H, if it was the new people because of the merger of UFC and WWE TKO, I need y'all to get it together and treat the women's division with proper respect and care. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself having a lot of women who are going to be asked to leave and to go elsewhere. I'm just going to say it as that. Treat your women with the same respect you do the men, because those women have time and time again proved that they are great at what they do. They put on phenomenal matches. But if you're going to treat them like dog turd, then don't be surprised when they leave and they decide to go elsewhere because you guys aren't treating them seriously and you're not treating them with respect. Hashtag lipstick service, support women's wrestling. But that is going to be it for this Monday Night Raw review. So, if you like this Raw Squad review, you can check out all the other weekly TV reviews that we have here at the YouTube Biconic's YouTube channel. We also cover all the pay-per-views, so you can check those out. You can follow us all over the social medias on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, X, Facebook at Biconic's Wrestling Podcast or BC Wrestle Pod for short. If you want to see us be a little more unhinged and talk anything other than the weekly television shows, make sure to check out our podcast, the Biconics Wrestling Podcast. We just dropped a new episode today where me, John, Evan, and our newest member, Andrew, we talk about some of our favorite wrestlers and matches outside of WWE. We also dive deep into this conspiracy theory about this merger between UFC and WWE to form TKO. If you want to know what that is, you got to check it out and watch the episode. But I have been Mikey, one of your hosts for the Raw Squad review. Until the next one, remember, from all of us here at the Biconics, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, be Biconic. We'll see you later, but until then, ta-ta for now. Thank you for watching.